Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm your host, Dr. Robert Davis. Today we are addressing the leader's feelings of inadequacy. That's right. When a leader starts to feel inadequate, I want all my leaders to gather around. We're talking about feelings of inadequacy that leaders often struggle with. And we're going to talk about some why that happens. And kind of build off of what we've been talking about around jealousy and self-esteem. And then we're going to talk about how we can address these feelings of inadequacy. So stick around. We got a lot to unbox. So stick around as we unbox this and many other things. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach. And welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. Hey everyone, again, welcome to Unboxed. And before we get started, would you like, subscribe, and share? So I'm going to just pick up where I kind of left off yesterday. And I talked about, when do I notice myself feeling jealous? And I talked about, my own issues and wrestling with self-esteem. And every leader that I have ever worked with or interacted with struggles with self-esteem issues. And I think it becomes a little more pronounced among pastors and politicians, the two P's, because pastors and politicians are always in front of the people. So you see those self-esteem issues manifest themselves more pronounced. Boy, a lot of P words, huh? The pastor, the politician's self-esteem is more pronounced because they're always in front of people. Hey, you can write that down. I won't even charge you. But that is the reality of it. Everyone that I've ever interacted with has some kind of self-esteem issue. And one of the ways that our self-esteem shows up and reveals itself is when we have these feelings of jealousy. And as I told you before, feeling jealousy is not a bad thing. It's not bad to feel jealousy. No feeling is a bad feeling. It's just simply an indicator. All feelings are just message signs. The sign that says speed limit 70 miles an hour is not a bad thing. All it is just telling you what a reality is. And so feelings are telling you the reality of what's going on inside of your emotions and inside of your mind. So you want to be attuned to your feelings, understand your feelings so that you can make intelligent decisions even while you have these feelings. So jealousy is not a bad thing. And yesterday I shared with you that one of the times and one of the areas in which I noticed myself struggling and feeling a jealousy is when someone else gets approval or praise for doing something that was less than what I did and I didn't get approval or praise for. So I use the example of the community fest that, we did here in Denver and how it brought together Jewish and Christian and Muslim communities, big thing in the Park Hill area. And then, I feel a certain kind of way. This didn't happen. I'm giving an example. I would have felt a certain kind of way had I gone to a pastoral meeting in Kansas City with all the other Adventist pastors. And then somebody gets recognized for having, a special senior citizens program where they recognized all the senior citizens and whatnot. I mean, that's great. And we do need to recognize our elders. But I'm like, we gave people free financial counseling and did all kinds of stuff. And I noticed that that's when I would begin to experience those feelings of jealousy. But one of the things I want to share with you is that jealousy occurs when I see my personal inadequacies realized in another. So you're saying to yourself, what do you mean? You just talked about all this great stuff that you did. Somebody else gets credit. Now you're jealous of the person who gets credit for something smaller than you. What inadequacy are you sensing that is causing you to be jealous? You said, so usually you think about, I'm jealous of this person because they're better at me in something. And that is the truth. Oftentimes our jealousy stems from a place of, I'm angry that the person is better at me than something. And let me share with you one of the things that I've noticed in my own personal life. And this is one of the things that, as we do our peer support group, as I have an opportunity to coach leaders and executives, one of the things that I help them to do is to process this and to work through this. So what is the inadequacy? One of the inadequacies, and this is something that I realized, is that I have a certain amount of timidity. You wouldn't believe it seeing how much I'm up front. but I have a certain amount of timidity in self-promotion. There are other individuals who are very good at making sure that what they have done is known and recognized. And I have convinced myself, and I'm telling you, prior to doing that self-work that I'm encouraging you to do, and and the coaching that I'm encouraging you to participate in, I often try to hide my timidity, my fear of telling folks what I've done and promoting what I've done. I said, well, I want to be humble. And so there are other individuals that, hey, they have no challenge. And so they have no challenge saying, you know what? I just did something great. I had a special dinner for the senior citizens at my church, and we recognized everybody who was over the age of 65, and we gave them gifts and had a wonderful meal. And I'm sitting back there steaming and upset and angry because I'm saying, well, I did this great thing in the community and nobody recognized me. But you know what the reality is? It was not what I did in the community or what this person did with having a special dinner at their church. The reality was one person had the skill set to be able to share what they did and to be able to promote it in such a way. And there's nothing wrong with promoting. Yogi Berra said, it ain't bragging if you done it. And so the inadequacy, and I hope that I'm breaking through with someone, because this is again, some of how we process and work through so that as leaders, we show up as the most mature and authentic person that we can be. And so one of the things is, hey, you know what? I need to, rather than focus on the fact that this other person is getting attention, is getting recognition, I need to focus on what are my fears and insecurities that hinder me from being able to promote the things that I have done. And excuse me, please, how do I promote myself in a way that isn't obnoxious and arrogant, but at the same time does draw attention? Because when you bring attention, I'm working through my thing and showing you how we work through this together. When you do bring attention to the things that you do, it inspires others to join on with your team and to say, hey, I like that. It also encourages others to do similar things in their area of influence, in their neck of the woods, if you will. And so, sitting back saying, I'm going to be humble and I'm not going to, here's a good one we always use, I'm not going to let my right hand know what my left hand is doing, and all of that, all of that talk that we do, that self-psyching yourself out of it talk. And this is what, so there's an inadequacy, as I just shared with you, an inadequacy of not knowing how to promote, which is then causing, feelings of resentment and jealousy. And so one of the things that leaders have to do is when they see someone else that stirs up and they find themselves having emotions of jealousy and they find themselves over focusing on the next person, one of the big questions is, what is the inadequacy that you have? Well, you know what? They just know how to schmooze. They just know. No, what you're really saying is, I don't know how to build those type of relationships that engender people to me. And that person does. And I'm jealous of that. I don't know how to self-promote. I don't know how to put what I'm doing out there and encourage other people to jump on board. And that person does. And I am feeling jealousy. There it goes. You see that now? So then the jealousy is a signal that there's some kind of inadequacy in me. Wow, I wish that we had time to really unpack that. But I think I gave you enough tonight to really begin to thinking. As you look at other people in your life who are struggling with, who you are struggling with feelings of resentment and jealousy towards, really think about what inadequacies in your own self. Go back and look at the video that we did prior to this one, Taming the Leader's Jealousy. Go back and look at that one and talk about the 3 steps that'll help you. All right, I said an awful lot tonight. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to continue and pick right back up here on the inadequacies the next time that we meet. Until then, take care.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.